What is going on, my YouTube friends? Oh boy, did we have quite a little collapse in the market yesterday. You know, it's a volatile market for sure, even though the S&P 500 is only down, what, 2%, 3%? And it actually regained a lot of it overnight and into today. But anyway, I made this video because I want to talk to you guys about MSTR stock, like I always do every single day. So if you're interested in MSTR stock, if you own some, if you're thinking about buying some, definitely subscribe to the channel. Let me know what your price targets are below in the comment section. So yeah, MSTR is not looking good right now, right? My personal humble opinion from a guy on YouTube is that I think this is a near-term, short-term correction, right? That happens in the market all the time. We see Bitcoin down to 101,000, right? Which, to be fair, if you watch my past videos, I've said that Bitcoin, I believe, could go to the bottom. I think the bottom is $90,000 to $100,000, right? And we basically bounced off 99K twice, right? And here we are at like 101, right? And then MicroStrategy got down to like $240 a share, and I think it's bounced back up to about $250, $255 now. So, in my personal humble opinion from a guy on YouTube, you can debate me in the comment sections if you'd like to. We can talk about it, but I believe that, like I said, this is a short-term correction, and that all of the MSTR price predictions from all these gigantic institutions are still in play. Where you've got these gigantic institutions that are telling you that their price targets on MSTR are $500, $600, $700 within the next year, right? Not only that, but MSTR still has a market cap of what, 70 or 80 billion dollars. So you're talking about a lot of money is in this stock, right? It's not just me, some guy on YouTube telling you, hey, I think this could be a bargain price for an MSTR. It's a lot of other people. You can just Google search it, right? And it's all based upon Bitcoin price, right? So it's like, if you do believe in Bitcoin, it's almost essentially impossible not to believe in MSTR. That's if you have any sort of arguments against that, let me know in the comment section below. I'm sure I'm going to get absolutely destroyed in the comment section in this video, by the way. If you want some laughs, after you watch this video, come back in a day or two and see what the bears are posting on the comment section, because it is kind of funny sometimes the comments I get, because like a lot of people think that Michael Saylor is like this Ponzi scheme guy who's just out to trick everybody, get everyone's money and buy all the Bitcoin for himself and all these things. And it's like, if you actually did your research, you would see that Michael Saylor has no children. He says he's going to donate all of his shares of MicroStrategy and all of his Bitcoin to like some non-profit, right? And he just wants Bitcoin to be more adopted in the world. Not only that, but you've got like people like Chamath Palihapitiya, right? One of the richest people on the planet. He's a billionaire. He's not like top 100, but he's like, I guess maybe his top 100. I'm pretty sure he's at least top 500 richest people in the world. And he's extremely influential with the All In podcast, right? And his claim was that in 2024, Michael Saylor was the best investor of anyone in the world, right? And that he's a firm believer that he thinks MicroStrategy is going to be one of the biggest companies in the world. And they don't have to do anything. They literally don't make a product or a service. They have digital credit, they have digital capital, you know, the whole shebang and the whole deal that he talks about all the time, where it's like, we're going to need Bitcoin treasury companies in the future. He's the first mover on this, right? And really what it boils down to is how it affects you as a retail investor is that, you know, the MNAV is essentially the same, right? MicroStrategy stock went down because Bitcoin went down. And they go down proportionally because that's the entire business operation of MicroStrategy, right? So if the MNAV is still 1.2, 1.3, but now Bitcoin is only 100K, like if you believe in the long-term prospects of Bitcoin, then not only Bitcoin, but also MSTR are both bargain prices right now. They're both absolute steals, right? I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just some guy on YouTube. So do your own research, don't sue me if it goes down, type of a thing. And like I've said in previous videos too, it's like with super, super volatile assets like this, it's okay, in my personal humble opinion, I believe that it is okay to have like a diversified portfolio full of volatile assets, right? Now, if you just have a constant, like with still some concentrated positions within that diversified portfolio, if that makes sense. It's kind of a couple of oxymorons there. It's a little bit complex, but like basically what I'm saying is if you hold volatile assets, unless you are like beyond convicted and you think that the bottom has done passed on whatever asset you're thinking about buying, then it's like keep your positions to like in these volatile stuff to like 20% or less, 15% or less, 10% or less, right? Because that means that when you do that, that you can go out and you can buy the dip. If you still are convicted and it goes down, then you've got either money on the sideline, or maybe you've got another stock that's went up a lot that you could, you know, sell a little bit of and put it into the next stock, put it into the stock that went down. You know, it's just one of those things where like you can stomach it, you can stomach the volatility, you can sleep at night. You know, everyone knows that Bitcoin and crypto in general is very, very, very volatile, right? So if you talk to people that have 100% of their net worth in, like, let's say Bitcoin or Ethereum or, you know, MicroStrategy or MetaPlanet, I mean, these people really, really, really know what they're talking about, or they're really, really stupid. That's what it boils down to. It's one of the two. And the only reason I say they're stupid is because they're like newer investors that don't know much, and they just see, oh, you know what, MSTR is probably going to be really expensive one day, I should go all in. And then, especially if they go on margin, it's really stupid. But if they do go all in, like, there's actually nothing wrong with that, right? Long term, they're probably going to do great. Like, theoretically, going all in on an MSTR kind of makes sense, you know, for some people. Not me, but some people, right? But the problem is you have to be able to sleep at night, and if you do that, if you do put so much of your network into MSTR or Bitcoin or MetaPlanet or something, and it goes down, you have to be able to go to sleep at night knowing that you lost 20% in a day, 10% in a day, right? And it's the exact same way, the opposite way, where it's like you can get overly emotional the other way too and get so happy that it like, basically it can actually ruin your life. It can create like problems with you and your wife, you and your kids. It can affect your emotions, whether the stock goes up too much or down too much. So it's like this game. It's the psychology of money, right? And it's this game of like, where does your risk tolerance lie with respect to your happiness and your portfolio gains? You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So basically, you want your portfolio to be the highest it could possibly be in 5 years from now, right? Or like, you know, you want it to be higher than it is now, at least, right? And get a good ROI. But you also want to have everything else in your life go well as well. You want your house to be fine, your family life, right? Your family life to be great and your portfolio to be great. And sometimes that actually means like not taking the road that you think is the most profitable, as crazy as that sounds, you know, because the most profitable route, or the route where you have the most money in 5 years, might be a super, super, super volatile route that affects you emotionally, right? And then that can actually transpire and affect other parts of your life. So keep that all in mind, guys. Especially the reason why I bring this up is because, like, I saw on X yesterday a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, you know, BlackRock's selling out of all these shares in their ETF. IBIT's just selling like not shares, Bitcoin. IBIT's just selling tons of Bitcoin. The BlackRock ETF for Bitcoin is just selling tons of Bitcoin. You know, and they're manipulating the system. And then when you dig down a little bit further, you realize, no, BlackRock's not selling Bitcoin. It's the retail investors that are playing the game that these large institutions want to play with them, right? The manipulative institutions, the ones that own a lot of the Bitcoin. That's why I said the other day that, like, Bitcoin is still decentralized, but it's less decentralized than it was in 2010. That's for sure. Because there's entities like MicroStrategy, entities like the USA government, the Chinese government, the BlackRock ETFs. There's these entities that own significant portions of Bitcoin, right? Making it less decentralized. And you also have whales that just have like hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin or like tens of thousands of Bitcoin, right? And they can actually like manipulate the market just on their own a little bit, right? And cause like collapses like this, knowing that, oh my gosh, they consider retail to be stupid, right? And to be fair, like, these gigantic institutions have entire teams with like Ivy League degrees, right, in economics that are like manipulating the system, and that's their entire job, 40 to 50 hours a week. A lot of these people work overtime at the Goldman Sachs and the BlackRocks of the world, right? State Streets, right? So like, you know, they do this for a living. They find ways to make profit trading, and that is like their entire That's how they afford their life. That's what they do for a job, right? As compared to someone like you and I, where we just invest. You know, we work hard for our money, contribute to the society, contribute to the economy, contribute to GDP, and then pay our bills, right? With what's left over or what's in our 401k, we invest it, right? In hopes that the money that we invest will be larger later on than it is today. So what's the moral of the story here that I'm trying to get at? The moral of the story is, like, don't put yourself into a position where you're short-term trading, right? Like this, how I operate and how I want to direct this channel is like, I'm a long-term investor all the way, right? The only reason I would ever sell MicroStrategy or MetaPlanet is that the MNAV got way too high. So if there's a premium on the shares that are so high that it doesn't make sense because there's so much FOMO, because these stocks are, you know, they can get FOMO sometimes in them, right? People can get FOMO and just put money in them, and before you know it, the MNAV's 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And at that rate, if I wouldn't buy it at that price, I probably shouldn't own it. I probably shouldn't hold it, you know? So that's why I'm saying, like, the only short-term trading I do is just MNAV related, right? So if the MNAV is fine, I'm gonna hold MicroStrategy and MetaPlanet for the long term, like, because I believe in Bitcoin and I believe in the Bitcoin treasury company mindset, specifically with these two. The other ones, there's plenty of other ones that I've done a little bit of research on, but I don't know, I don't have the conviction in them, you know, compared to MicroStrategy and even MetaPlanet. But like, yeah. So that's really what I'm getting at, is don't put yourself in a position where you have to sell. Like all those people that owned IBIT yesterday, that are just selling and selling and selling their shares of IBIT. It's like, and you know, I know it's never gonna stop happening, but I just hope the people on my channel that are watching my videos can realize you can become wealthy. You can become rich. Just go to a compound annual, a CAGR, a compound annual growth rate calculator, type in what the ROI you think you will get. If Bitcoin is 30%, 40%, just go ahead and type that in and put it in there for 5 or 10 years and see what it is. Same thing with MicroStrategy. If you think MicroStrategy is gonna outperform Bitcoin, put that ROI in and see how long it'll take you. And when you do that, it will like solidify you as like as a person, right? And you're like, okay, this is what I have to do. I can't let anyone mess with my goals. So how do I get to the point where my goals are actually achievable and, you know, emotions don't play nearly as large of a factor, and I'm not selling when it goes down. If anything, I have money on the sidelines and I'm buying when it goes down, because that's what smart money's doing. Smart money's buying at Bitcoin at 100K when it was just 120K a week ago, right? Maybe 2 weeks ago, right? The smart money is like buying on the dip, because at 120, they've already made 20% gains, right? And the people that bought at 120, they're down 20%. So then they could say, oh, you know, I'm scared now. I've lost 20%. You know, should I sell? I want to cut my losses. I put a stop loss on or whatever like that, right? And I'm not like that. I don't play investing like that, right? It's all about the long-term mindset. I want my portfolio to be larger in 3 years, in 5 years, and in 10 years, and even longer than that, right? I want to be making consistent ROI, and that's why I think a diversified position, a diversified portfolio with a few concentrated positions related to asymmetric bets of high growth companies / assets is the play for me. And if you agree with that, then you should definitely subscribe to this channel. Yeah, okay guys, let me know how many shares of MSTR you got down below, what your price target is, and what do you think, even more importantly than that, what do you think Bitcoin is going to be by year end? All right guys, definitely subscribe to the channel. All right, see ya. Have a good day.